Nicks and Bruises, we are back. Shout out to the chat. Yo, Black is time. I started off with that quick moment of silence for Quincy Jones. R.I.P. Quincy Jones, staple in the music business. Um, yeah, I just definitely need to start out with that, man.
Yeah.
Rest in peace,
Rest
Quincy.
in peace.
Peace, Queen.
Peace.
Man, it felt like 2 weeks since we've been on the show.
It really has been. It's
You
been
know what I
longer
mean?
than that.
It felt like it, but definitely glad to be back. Um, Shout out to the chat. Queen's Court tonight, 6 o'clock. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So
Knicks play at 8, so we're going early tonight.
that's right. 8:45 actually.
Did Knicks play at 8:45?
Yeah, it's a late game.
I thought it was 8.
I'm pretty
Oh.
sure. I'm pretty sure it's
Oh,
eight
we probably
forty-five.
could even go a little we might be able to get away with going a little later.
Yeah. Well, we'll
We'll figure it out.
Queen's Court tonight.
Queen's
Tonight.
Court tonight before the Knicks.
Oh, that's right. Um, yeah. So shout out to the chat, replay gang, everybody. Let's get to some news. Campaign is dealing with a hamstring injury. I don't know if this is why his play has been so subpar.
Mhm.
Well, I guess he got injured in the Detroit game. So my question is, does this open the door for some more minutes, increase minutes for Tyler, the creator, Tyler Kolek? He
I
hasn't really been in the rotation. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Other than garbage time, but he's been playing well in his minimal minutes. Against third stringers and second stringers. But what are your thoughts, Queen? Do you think Tibbs, as you said, stays true to his form of the next man up mentality, or has Tyler not quite, you know, earned his respect from from coach enough to kind of man some minutes tonight?
Yeah, shout out to the chat. Um, I think he sticks with the next man up mentality, and I think that's Tyler Kolek. He's played well in summer league. He's played well in preseason. He's played well in garbage time. And I think you can kind of keep the rotations the same if you do that, right? You just subbing out campaign for Tyler Kolek, so you don't really have to make any other changes. He could go 7. I think that's even for Tibbs. I don't think he goes 7. Um, you could play Sims and Kolick together. Um, that's not something I like or I would do, but that's a possibility as well. But I would go with Kolick. You know,
Yeah,
um,
I agree. One of the good things is, even though the rotation has been 8, even with that being said,
mhm.
Cam's pain campaign hasn't played a huge amount of minutes. So
Right,
if
right,
Kolek is filling in that role, it's still what, 15 minutes maybe,
maybe
max.
max.
You know what I mean? So I do think he does get some playing time if campaign is indeed out. So yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to it.
I am too, but I do have some concern. And I say that because I believe the guard. I don't know who their third point guard is or third guard is, but between Jalen Green and Fred Van Fleet, if Tyler is playing those whatever minutes it is against a dynamic guard like Jalen Green and then a savvy veteran like Fred Van Vliet, he will be and defense being his weak point, you know what I mean? This may be really being thrown into the fire in a sense. Because I don't really know who else he would be up against
But he wouldn't
guarding.
start though,
No, he
right?
wouldn't. No, he wouldn't start. But I don't. That's what I'm saying. I don't know who their third guard is, or
Right,
potential. You know what I
right.
mean? I'm under the assumption that one of those two are on the floor at all times.
Mhm.
Unless you're more familiar with their roster.
I'm not.
Um, yeah, I don't know who they you know who else he would be matched up against, wherever point of the game it is that he gets his minutes. But sometimes you got to be thrown into the fire. You can't coddle these kids, and this the NBA. You're gonna face a tough matchup pretty much every night. You know what I mean? Whether it's a starting point guard you're facing, or a bench point guard. You know what I mean? These guys are gonna be ready to play. So yeah, I hope he's up for the task.
Yeah, and then also, oh, sorry, go ahead, Tom.
No, good. No, I see you about to say something. I was saying, go ahead.
It also depends on who he's out on the floor with. A lot of times one player who's not strong defensively doesn't it's not a lot of damage. It,
Mhm.
it it depends on the team that's out there. So if he's out there with strong defenders, and I'm pretty sure Thibodeau would do that, um, I think he'd be okay.
Yeah,
Because
facts
remember, you already in that second unit running Bridges and Ananobi, which are two pretty good defenders. If he's out there with McBride is a good defender. Um, and whether it's Huk-porti or Sims, they hold their own. He might be the weakest link.
Yeah. And then you speak about who he's on the floor with. You mentioned Sims. As even Huk-porti. Um, even an OG. You know what I mean? I think Tyler on the floor with these guys who aren't necessarily the best at going out and getting their own shot. He may be able to elevate them and kind of feed these guys, get them easier opportunities than they would normally get, with other guys on the floor. So that may be a bonus as well. Him being able to utilize his strength. Spoke about the weaknesses, but his strength is the passing.
Right. And you bring up a good point, Tony. A lot of times when we look at a player, um, and they're not great on one side, if they're bringing enough on the other side to offset it, I mean, unless you're just too one dimensional, then it's like it is not much you could do to offset it. But if it's just a little weakness, and you're bringing much more on the offensive end, it does offset it.
For sure. Um, Huk-porti, they converted him, signed him to a 2 year, a 1-and-1 essentially.
Mhm.
2 year, second year's a team option. He's on the roster. That brings it up to 13. So a couple of things I want to talk about with this is I think we have until tomorrow to get it to 14. So we'll discuss potentially what do you think the Knicks do for that 14th spot. Um, but yeah, I'm glad Huk-porti got the contract. I think we kind of thought this was going to be the case early on once we knew we needed to get the roster spots up to 14. But good
And we
for
didn't
him.
have money.
And we didn't have much money, so we
We didn't
gotta,
have much money. We had to convert.
this organization, yes, they're savvy. They're gonna figure out how to stretch a dollar and utilize all the minimum amount of space they have. But yeah, good for him. But do you think this means anything on the other side? Is it just the financial part and the business part of trying to get the roster spots up, or do you think this means we chose him because we think he has kind of the best shot to kind of help us out, utilize them.
I
Because I
think it was
think
a little bit of both.
I agree,
I think it
but
was a little bit of both.
I agree
Yeah.
because I mean I've been saying it since preseason. Sims better watch his back. You know what I mean? This
Mhm.
guy, don't leave the door open because he's about to come in and he hasn't had any great outings so far. You know what I mean? I think he has 4 rebounds. I mean, pardon me, 4 blocks and like 7 rebounds in like 29 minutes of play.
Mhm. Mhm.
But that's across 4 games. That's a block a game. You know what I mean? That's a stat in itself. We know how to. I think those 7 rebounds. I think 6 of them was in one game.
Mhm.
So that says a lot. You know what I mean? He has the potential to impact this team, and yeah, we might need him considering, how limited I'll say Sims is
Right.
on all fronts other than rebounding the ball. He's been rebounding the ball extremely well. I keep
Hmm.
pointing that out because I don't want it to be just dogging a player. You know what I mean? But Huk-porti seems to have a lot more elements to his game
He does.
than Sims does. But yeah, you said a little bit of both. Go ahead and touch on that, and I'll piggyback.
Yeah, I mean, I do think he's more active than Sims. He has more of a physical presence than Sims. And it's not just that he's taller. Sims just seems to get pushed around a little bit more than you would think he would be, given his size. And you don't see that with Huk-porti. Like you see the physicalness um, of it. Obviously, he's new to the NBA, so his outings is going to be up and down. That's to be expected. But without Precious, with Sims playing the way he's playing, I think it was a good move. I think it was a good move. Down the line, there's also once we're back to full strength, there's still, you know, he adds depth, right? So even if he goes back to being situational because Robinson is back and Precious is back, you still have depth, right? You have somebody who was in the fire, who got NBA game experience, and so if any one of them go down, he'll have a chance to step back in and give the Knicks, you know, good minutes.
Yeah, I agree. Um, how long do you think he surpasses Sims in the depth chart or in the rotation, and how long before do you think? Because it seemed like at one game, Tibbs went ahead and utilized Huk-porti um ahead of Sims at least in the second half in that particular game. Might have started in the first half to be honest. But then Sims didn't see any minutes in the second half. And then the very next game, Huk-porti didn't play at all, and Sims was utilized as far as the backup.
Right.
Where do you think this goes? Or to the original question, does he surpass him, and how long do you think it takes?
I think he does surpass him, but that's not saying much, when it comes to Sims, in my opinion. So I do think he surpasses Sims. Like I said, I think he's played better than Sims, in my opinion, you know, up to this point, even though Sims probably has better um, rebounding numbers. I think Huk-porti is, you know, more active, you know, um, defensively, and probably with more time, you'll probably have just as many rebounds, you know, as Sims. I think the reason why we're talking about either one of those guys is just how short we are
Hmm.
at that center position. I think if we was at full strength, we wouldn't be talking about either one of them. But this is where we are, and in my opinion, I do think Huk-porti one has a higher ceiling than Sims. Um, so when it's all said and done, he's going to have much more of an impact on this organization than Sims, and I think he's outplayed Sims. At this point, but you know how I feel about young guys anyway. They're up and down. That's just and they're allowed to be. That's just part of the growth process. And as we're moving into playoff contention, I hope we're not talking about either one of them once playoff time comes, but we shall see.
Yeah. And then I mentioned this before, but that center position is the least amount of responsibility. So what I mean, if you stay focused on the defensive end and rebounding the ball, you know what I mean. The younger guys may have a larger window to perform
Right,
with less responsibility than
right,
a guy like Kolik that we
right,
just spoke about,
right.
potentially getting minutes. So um yeah, I think I think he's gonna surpass him. I think it's gonna be relatively soon. For the simple fact that if there's an edge that Sims, well, two edges that Sims has. One, just the rebounding at a consistent level. Like I think he's been doing it all year. That's kind of been, one of his staples, I guess. But the fact that he's been with the team and being under Tibbs and within the system for
Mhm.
so long, so many years, he does have an advantage in that, in that aspect.
Yeah,
Let
for
me
sure.
bring my guy, give him bring my guy in the building. Jay Boogie, what up, man? Salute, salute, salute. Three capital S's, right? You might be frozen or muted. Yeah, I think you froze up, but whenever you get good, come on in, jump in the conversation.
For sure.
Um,
No doubt, family. My fault. My apology. I was trying to get all the way right, man. What's good with you, my brother? Hey, sis, how you doing? What's
I'm
going
good.
on with the TC? Hope everybody good. Shout out to everybody who's watching, viewing. You know what I'm saying, and text it, and make sure you hit that subscribe button, share, move, and you know what I'm saying, and share the show amongst any and everywhere on all platforms. You know, hit that like button, share, and subscribe to the show, man. What's good, man? I had to pull over, man. I told you I was in the truck, man.
hey, I appreciate you, man. However long you can stay, you know what I mean. You always welcome. I appreciate you jumping in. Um, we
No
we
doubt,
we
man.
we spoke about Payne potentially dealing with a hamstring injury,
Mhm.
and what that may mean for Tyler Kolek if you think his role increases, next man up. You know what I mean? And we spoke about Huk-porti, being converted to a standard contract, 1-1 play team option next year. We want to touch on those real quick, and then I'll keep the show moving forward.
Yeah, man. Just real quick on Payne, the roster looked like it was being built as if, you know what I'm saying, to make sure the next player is there to replace the next player if needed. So if Cam is down with a hamstring, and we don't want it to go no further because we know it's three, levels to it. You know what I'm saying? It's the pull, the stretch, and the tear. So we don't want it to get neither of the last two. So it's an opportunity for Kolek to if Tom feel like calling him in, I know he's already ready to go. He's a student of the game and he wants to get out there on the floor. He wants to learn, he wants to be involved. But at the same time, while he's not playing, he's studying, he's learning, and he's watching. It's kind of like in a Deuce mode. You know what I'm saying? How Deuce was. So where I look at it, if you get a chance to play him, that guy over there that they draft from Kentucky, they put him out there on the floor and you need to put him out there on the floor. You know what I'm saying? But this is Tom's team, Tom's decision. Whatever he feel like he want to do, he's gonna do. It might be more increased minutes. Well, you know what I'm saying? um Deuce, aka the microwave Johnson, might be more minutes for him, but whatever is necessary, I think Kolek is ready. And shout out to the big guy. I'm real happy for the big guy getting his opportunity. This guy looked like he can be something. You know what I mean? He looks like he can form into a player like what's my man name that's playing center over there in Atlanta?
Capella?
Um,
What's the name
Capella,
again?
Clint
Yeah,
Capella?
Capella.
Capella. It looks like he could form into a player like Capella. He's willing, he's eager, and he's a student of the game. And I love the conversation between Deuce and him when he told him live on the game, you know what I'm saying? Big guy, you got to work. This is where you get your minutes. This is where you get your trust. This is where you earn your money. You know what I'm saying? Right here, this is how I got it. And that guy is not scared of nothing. And the scary thing about it, he doesn't even understand how to play the game yet. But more importantly, his energy, his effort, he's not clumsy, he's not doofy, none of that. You know what I mean? So he's athletic and he's big. And you get in my way, I will, tear this rim down on you. That's what I like, you know what I mean, about him, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to the squad for, giving him the opportunity. That means they got plans for him. They see his development is on his way and they want to include him in the plans. It's like we did Hartstein, so many guys that we brought over here. We developed these guys into better ball players than what they were before they came
Mhm.
here. And you know what I'm saying? So even with Julius gone and even Hartenstein, even with Dante, he had his best years here. So I look for nothing different for the organization to develop this guy, and continue on bringing him in the right way, man. But I I look for Kolek to be able to see some minutes, and I look for I can't say his name, but the big guy's name. I look for him to get some minutes too. But I heard y'all talk about the one night he played, the other night Sims played. You know, that's when Tom was mentioning matching. You know, amongst big guys and smaller guys. It was more athletic in Miami, so I guess he wanted to go with Sims. But me personally, I'm going to continue on giving this big guy them reps. I want him to learn how to, you know what I'm saying, be on the defensive end when they get picked off, and you know how to move your feet and play in front of a guard. I need all those developments that he do. So if you're going to pick and choose with those guys, to me, you're going to miss out on this guy being able to play a guard when they put him in the high screening role. So, but yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go ahead and smash Houston, get them up out of the way tonight. You know, more chemistry, more learning, figuring out how to play together and everything. More pick and roll, more Bridges continue on doing what you're doing. OG, put that 5-stick down. Get off that couch. I need you to just continue on being involved, man. Be involved. We know what you get paid for. But I need a little bit more than that. But man, I love where the direction the team is at. Really good.
Nah, I feel you. I just want to mention and shout out to who's this Darkosaurus Rex. You know, he mentioned that he played on a championship team in Australia, or pardon me, with championship players in Australia. Mentioning Matthew, I don't know how to say his last name, dude from Cleveland.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Ian Clark. But I just wanted to mention you know, the fact that he's not a typical rookie as well. You know what I mean? Playing professionally overseas is a little bit more of a an advantage than, you know, the typical rookie coming out of college. You know, so he is a pro. You know, coming over here, he's a rookie to the NBA, but is not the typical rookie. So he has a little bit more experience playing with veteran guys, more talented players, and things of that nature. So but yeah, shout out to Darkosaurus Rex. And we mentioned this brings the roster up to 13. We got to get it to 14 by tomorrow. And decisions that's gonna have to be made. You know, there's talks of signing Shamit, even though he's nowhere near ready to impact or play. So my question is, where do you think we go with that? Do you think it's Shamit and we wait him out? Is it the Matt Ryan kid who you know, rumors are? I mean, we know he's a shooter, so he brings that same type of dynamic to the team. If he could get moved up, shout out to coach. He says he'd rather have Kevin McCullough, the other rookie from, was it Kentucky?
Kansas, man. Don't get my Jayhawks wrong now.
My bad.
Don't do that.
I meant to say Kansas too.
Okay.
You know the Kentucky Knicks connection, so it just threw me off for a second. But where do you think we go with that final roster spot, and what would you do? So 2-part questions. You could lead off, Queen. We'll jump back to J Boogie.
I mean, as much as I like Shamit, I don't know if we can hold a spot for him knowing that he's not healthy. What I don't know is, do we have flexibility? So, for example, if we were to sign Matt Ryan, does that mean if Shamit was to get better, we can't bring him? We can't bring him up. Would that mean we would have to cut somebody? Would that just be a money issue? Would, you know? But I don't think we can wait. I think we need. Honestly, behind us, the top 7 players that we're playing right now, I don't feel really comfortable. I just feel like we have to play those guys, and they're giving us something, and I think that's great. But when you're talking about trying to go for a championship, once we get past Deuce and Precious, I'm not real comfortable on that. On that bench. So I don't think we have the luxury of signing Shamit and just having him wait until he's ready.
I agree with you on that point. I just want to ask real quick, because you mentioned it, the comfortability part.
Oh, and campaign. I mean, I'm comfortable with Payne too.
In campaign. the thing with Matt Ryan is that he's not going to change your comfort level, right? That
Well,
like
that was my
not really
question.
no, huh?
Well, that's my question with Matt Ryan. If we were signing him, does Thibodeau trust him? Would Thibodeau play
Mm-hmm.
him, or would
Mm-hmm.
he be? Might as well have been injured for the amount of time he's gonna get. You know what I mean? That I don't know.
So yeah, I'm glad I got the question in because it sounds like you was about to say it, answer it anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the thing. Like, does it change? Does it change that comfort level being unknown in a sense and being having to learn the system, learn earn tips, trust. You know what I mean? Or is there another option out there?
Mook
You know
is
what I
still
mean?
out there. I
Huh?
haven't heard. I said Mook is still out there as far as
Hmm.
I'm concerned. I haven't heard much about the Knicks' connection to him though.
I mean, from what I read and the wording of it, the verbiage of it, it sounded like he was upset when they chose to release him to get to bring in Cat as opposed to whether Shaman or whoever, because he didn't accept the training camp invite afterwards. You know what I mean? So I don't know I don't know if, I mean, or maybe the organization said, here's the training camp invite, but the chance is 10% that you know what I mean? Because we're favoring Shamit right now.
Right.
Um, but it sounded like he wasn't under he didn't want to accept that non-guaranteed. But to your point, at this point, if we sign him, it would be a guaranteed contract. You're on the roster, you know what the role is. So yeah, I'm not opposed to Mook either. Um any thoughts on McCullough? I'll let you go, J Boogie, because it sounds like you high on the brother.
He
Yeah, I'm
ain't
gonna
playing
keep.
that 1 minute though.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it in Kansas for a moment, man. Mook know better than that. Mook knows his business. He's been amongst this league for a long period of time, and for us to bring him in and do, you know what I'm saying, or whatever our plans was with him, you know what I'm saying, we didn't mess nothing up for him. Nobody else has picked him up, so you're still out there. You know what I mean? So don't act like we blew an opportunity or something for you somewhere else. Don't even stop that. McCullough need to go down to the G League. He got to get his reps up. He got to get his win up. He got to get his weight up. He is, you know what I'm saying, way behind as far as being on the court. He hasn't been on the court since he left Kansas. You know what I'm saying? Let me put that out there. Now, for Shamit, I'm like Queen. Is if we bring him up, if we bring somebody else up in that spot, say for example, we bring up TJ Warren, right? And I know he has a non-guaranteed contract. He got a what is it?
Westchester.
Yeah, he has a what is it? Something exempt contract or whatever it is he got.
I think that's converted already. He's just the. I mean, that's for training camp. The
Okay,
exhibit 9, exhibit 10s.
right.
Right now, he's strictly
Mhm.
signed to Westchester.
Okay, but that's good. But if we bring somebody in that spot like Ryan, I guess y'all was talking about Ryan.
Hmm.
Like McQueen said, when Shaman is ready, can we send him back down and bring him up in this spot? What does I don't know and understand what it really means. But if this guy Ryan, the way they talking about how he can shoot, and I don't seen him, you know what I'm saying, play before, but I never really paid attention to his defense. If this guy can play some defense, you know what I'm saying, I wouldn't mind giving him, an opportunity. He's what, 6'7", something like that. He's he's not a small wing, but we need to do something and fill in that role. And then if you don't want to do that, and you want to go get Mook, I'm all right with that. You don't want to go get Mook, shoot, get Thaddeus Younger call. I'm all right with that too. So whatever they do, they need to figure it out by tomorrow. But just know that move that that move that move is not going to help as far as any championship run or anything like that. It's just a feeling. You know, when you go, you sometimes you go to the dentist. You got to get that feeling. Even though it hurts, this decision is going to hurt, but a spot has to be filled in by tomorrow. So we got to go
Yeah,
and get that done.
and I agree with you guys with Shaman. I don't think it's worth signing him and waiting to see if he heals up. You know what I mean? Because it's not about when. It's really about or ultimately it is about when, but it's about this year or not. You know what I mean? Because we've seen what happened with Randall dealing with the same injury. Waited two months almost, right?
Right.
To really say, all right, it's not where I think it should be, and then got the surgery. So it's still up in the air. If there was a definitive timeline, okay, no
Right.
surgery, he'll be back in
Right.
2 months.
Right.
That would be different. But with
Right.
it being questioned and the whole assess, that's something I don't think we could do. I'm for more of the Mook type situation. Somebody who can impact and help not only now, but Jay Boogie. I think a guy like Mook can help in a championship run. We've seen his impact on the Cleveland last year, when guys went down, and him able to kind of perform, be a high performer in a playoff situation. You know what I mean? When called upon and needed. So I think a guy who's more ready to impact now and down the line is the way to go. And again, if there was a definitive timeline on Shamit, I would be all for it. Sign him, wait about, you know what I mean? But with it being a question of does he heal up, it's too big of a risk in my opinion. The same thing for McCullough as far as converting him. Um, like you mentioned, Jay Boogie, he's behind the ball as far as just starting his NBA career, and we're talking about a rookie, and we're talking about the earning Tibbs trust, and earning your way into, you know what I mean? Like, he's, to me, he's a bigger. It'll take longer for him to earn his role than a Matt Ryan, who at least has some NBA experience,
Right.
has a definitive calling card as a shooter. You know what I mean? So that could just be the only reason he's brought in, or sees the floor. All right, we need some shooting on the floor. Bring Matt Ryan in. You know what I mean? Like McCullough, it's really, he still got to learn the system. Tips got to learn him, see what he's capable of. You know what I mean? It's just a longer process to kind of get inducted into
Right.
the rotation. Oh,
Let
go
me.
ahead, Quinn.
But
I,
just as go ahead, sis.
no, no. I just had a quick question, and Boogie, you can add this to whatever you're about to say. What are we looking for on that bench? Are we looking for scoring? Are we looking for somebody that's just going to play solid and hold it down until our starters get back? Are we looking for defenders? What are we looking for in that second unit? Because that's going to help us decide kind of what who we should go after.
Mm. Well, for me, and I'll let you go, Jay Boogie. Definitive role as far as, like, we seen Shaman's impact when he was fighting for the roster spot. So I think adding a shooter in Matt Ryan, or a Mook that's capable. I might even like Matt Ryan more than Mook, because he's like, I haven't seen him in, I've seen highlights, but what he does, how he shoots, is more similar to what Shamit was doing. You know what I mean? So I think him having a definitive role as a shooter, and then figuring the rest of the stuff out, could help us more than somebody who doesn't have a definitive, skill set, and then just trying to work him in with whatever he ends up doing well. You know what I mean? And the fact that we got the rights to McCullough, so there's no rush. You know what I mean? There's no rush to bring him in, and we could have 15 players. You know what I mean? So there's a chance we could sign somebody and still convert McCullough down the line if he's showing some stuff in the G League and things of that nature. Go ahead, J Bub.
Yeah, I was just going to add on to you when you were speaking upon McCullough and and just let me. for any of those who don't know what type of game McCullough has, he is a Tibbs type guy, point blank. He is a more athletic Landry Fields with better athleticism, and he can shoot probably as good as him, if not a little bit better than him. And and his defense, that's his bread and butter. So he is a Tibbs type, caliber player. Athletic, long length, on the wing, 3-and-D. That's I can just really, really see him up under the OG wing. And you know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to put that out there for anybody that might not know of him. But Shamit, this is just my opinion. I believe Shamit was here to replace Dante. I believe they already had that move mapped out. I believe the pressure got on them and they gave him, look, listen, you don't make this deal now. We go into the season, we're not making a deal. So I believe they had already been trying to figure out what it is they was going to do before they made the trade, who they was going to bring in. So I think Shamit kind of implements what Dante would do. And he's not scared of the moment, and he plays defense. It's just that shoulder. Yeah, we don't know what it really is with that. When Julius got he felt like he was just back. Remember that he somehow, some way he felt some more pain and they had to delay that. So we don't know what's going on. But Tone, you just said, we can't go 15. If I don't really want to sit and wait on this guy because that's a hit or miss. Bringing him on into this team and just stashing him, and hope everything pans out well. And then even when he do come back, he got to catch up. How many minutes he gonna get? We don't know who might develop, whereas we don't need him, and different scenarios. But I believe the team, they understand. I think they're gonna go along with Precious, and now we go along with this big man and wait on Mitch come back. I think they're gonna solidify that right there. But I would like to get another wing type player. Not a small guy. To me, I want somebody between 6'5" and 6'9", athletic on that wing. I was crying for that boy Jones. I wanted Jones on this team so bad, but he went to Dallas. I mean, did he go to Dallas? Yeah, he went to Dallas, I think. No, he
Kai
went.
Jones,
No,
the
no, he
Clippers.
went to. No, he went to. It was just playing the other night. What did Jones play for now? He played
Which
with
Jones,
Dallas
though?
last year.
Wait, which Jones you talking about?
The left-handed kid to jump out the
Oh,
gym.
Jones Jr.
Yeah. I wanted
He
him on this
was on
team.
Dallas. Where did he go?
He's playing with somebody right now. I was just watching him the other day. But anyway, I need somebody like somewhere in that area, that type guy. We already know Walker. He went to go get some Chinese food, so he up out of here. Nobody ain't talk about him. He's sitting down, crossing his legs. He with sticks, so he good. We ain't bringing him back. But
And you got to buy him out to sign him.
yeah, you got to buy him out. Yeah, they got to figure out what they want to do.
Derek
Yeah,
Jones.
there you go. Shout out to JJ.
Shout out to JJ.
That's my brother, man. Thank you, my brother. Orange and blue twice, man. The Cardozo blue, orange and blue, and the Nick orange and blue. That's my brother, man. Hope all is well with you, my guy. I know you went through some things, what I'm saying, during the summer, man. Blessings, to you and your fam.
Yes, appreciate you joining us. Anything else you want to add to this kind of discussion with that last roster spot? I think the only other thing is if we did bring in McCullough, it being a rookie scale contract, we can do that and still have about a million, maybe $1.5 million left in cap space. And I do know that the salaries are prorated. So if we ended up bringing Shamit in, that could get us to 14, and then we waited out on Shamit, and then if he's available down the line, because the contract is prorated, what we would be paying him could probably fit still in the remaining cap space. You know what I mean? So that might be the only other way. But if we sign a veteran, I don't think we could release a veteran to bring him up later. You know what I mean? If he ends up being healthy, I think we would have to have the spot open and the cap space open as well. So you got to do rookie. It would have to be 2 rookies filling in to the 14, and then Shamit down the line at the 15th spot.
How did we get here? Is this because of the injuries? Is this because we lost depth with the trade? Is this because of the CBA? I feel like we finally in a position to make this championship run. And when we look at 8 through 12, man, it's like we picking, like it's slim pickings, man. You know?
I mean,
Oh man,
it's a combination of all of it. It's a combination of all of it, and you know, with the CBA, this is what they wanted. You know what I mean? They wanted to make it a little tougher to fill the back end of the rosters. I actually like the challenge of it, considering what we've seen in years past with, you know, the Miami, the big threes, and then all these guys like, all right, I'll take a minimum, I'll take a minimum, I'll take a minimum. You know what I mean? Where these are guys that should be on, you know, mid tier contracts, and they're sacrificing the money to get the ring. So I like the challenge.
but we don't even have those type of guys.
I mean,
Like where are those
I'm
minimum guys that's coming? That's like I'm just gonna
well,
I can make more, but I'm gonna make a minimum to get with.
well,
Like
well,
where are
that's what I think that's what I'm saying. They wanted to change the rules
I see.
so that you can't do that anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Like I like the challenge of that rather than the past where you could just, oh, they're stacked, let me go over here, and you know what I mean? Like I like them making it a little bit more difficult. I wish they would have done it sooner.
Not really. I wish they would have waited 2 more years and let us get our chip first
That's
and
true.
then start messing with making it harder to fill out the end of your bench. You know,
I mean, when I say I
you
wish they
young,
did it
Tony.
sooner,
You young.
listen,
You know what I
when
mean?
I
Us older folks, we ain't got all that time. That's why I'm pressed when we start talking about these rookies, and I'm like, oh man, and nothing against them. I'm just pressed, man. I'm
when
pressed.
I say sooner, I'm saying so it would have been harder for previous champions. That
Right.
you know what I mean? So I'm looking at it from that side. But I agree. If it was for us, then yeah, I wish it was still available to sign these guys, waive them, all that. You know what I mean?
I'm with you, Queen. I'm with you all the way. Because what Nino said, what he tell G Money in New Jack City, Keisha, gone. Gunner Man, gone. That's the way I look at it. RJ, gone. Quickly, gone. Grimes, gone. All our young bred thoroughbreds, they already gone. What you would have thought you would have been developing into being something. If all of them are gone, I'm not into trying to start all over with a whole bunch of young guys and developing them when we got rid of them. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Even though I like the 5 where we at, and I asked somebody this question the other day. Matter of fact, I asked my man State this question. If it was a championship finals, it was New York City against New York City, who's going to win this championship? When you got IQ, you got Grimes, you got RJ, you got Obi Toppin, and you got Julius Randle. I'm not going to add Mitch to that team because he's on this team too, so I ain't going to let him play both sides. Or you going to take Brunson, Bridges, OG, Towns, and who else is in that start? And Josh. Who's going to win that championship?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think the veterans are going to win it. I think these guys that's here now, they're going to win it. But I don't been through it, with all the young guys and trying to develop it and all that, So, hey, I don't want to, be starting all over, man. And like Queen said, I wish they'd allowed us to stack our team up with some of this buddy before they went on and did all that. Soon we got rid of all, look at how they want to, you want to implement the new contract and then all that stuff, and make you. But I have trust and belief in our guy that's doing those numbers behind. What's his name? The guy that's.
Wakala.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, every time I turn around, it's like, yo, he's doing something incredible. I think anything that they want to do, I think once they come up with a thought and idea what they want to do, I think they go check with him first and see if
No
we
doubt.
do this, can you
Right.
make this happen? Can you, to make the
Correct.
funds happen before they. I think that's how it's going though, man. Because that what he did a little while ago was incredible. How he got that money all up under the edge, man. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
You know how I know a bunch of my homeboys, you know what I mean, make good money, whatever, but that's what they do. They make the money, but then they give it to the wife. You know what I mean? And say, here, you do the budget. You know what I mean? You
Right.
figure out what
That's
bills.
right.
You know what I mean? So they using him like some of my homies use their wife. Like, all right, this is what we got. These are the bills. You know what I mean? These are what's coming up. This is the money. You figure it out. You let me know what's left over. You know what I mean? I'm just getting the money.
Right.
You go ahead and figure out the budget part.
No doubt. I just want to make this last point before we move on, just to piggyback off of what Jay Boogie just said. I think I'm so misunderstood when it comes to the young guys. Like, I'm not saying I don't have anything against these young guys. I love the ceiling, or what I perceive to be the ceiling, of Tyler Kolek. I love what I'm seeing for Huk-porti in terms of what his ceiling is going to be, what Daddy A's ceiling is going to be. And I don't know McCullough, but from the research I've done, I'm looking forward to see what he's going to be. All I'm saying is I'm trying to win this chip right now. And when you're trying to win a chip right now, like this season, the more veterans you have on your team that's been through it and that's seen it, the better your chances are going to be. That's all I'm saying. So it's hard for me to get excited about Huk-porti and Daddy A and Kolek for this season. I'm excited that the Knicks have filled up the back of their roster, because for the last few years, we didn't do that. So I'm excited that we have these guys in our system that 2, maybe 3 years, just like Chris Brown. Is it Chris Brown in Denver is starting right now. I like the fact that the Knicks are in a similar situation. All I'm saying is it's hard for me to get excited about them for this particular season, knowing that it's usually the more vets you have, usually the better chance that you have. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Great. It's funny that you mentioned Brown because this is not a combative thing, but for me, I'm excited because every championship team, there's always one guy like that, right? There's always like one rookie or 2-year guy that kind of steps up and performs and kind of shows that, all right, he rises to the occasion. So I don't know which one or if one of those guys can do it, but I feel like, and it won't be all of them, you know what I mean? But I feel like one of them can kind of have that opportunity to shine when the lights are brightest.
I agree. No.
You know what I mean?
No. I agree with you. But even if you look at Brown and his playoff run with Denver, he didn't have that every single game.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
No, I agree with you. Listen, in no way am I saying we can't get a significant performance or moment or 2 or maybe even 3 from one of our young guys in the playoffs. That's not my argument at all. You've seen that throughout championship history. A rookie will come in and give you a good moment or a good game. I'm not. I'm not arguing that.
It's the relying on them.
I said if I had my choice, my preference is to have a rookie. A veteran that I know can lock it down consistently and may have a bad game here and there. Don't get me wrong, but you know what you're getting from them most of the time versus a rookie where, yeah, they could have a good game here and there. That's all I'm saying. All of that being said, the Knicks are operating to the best of their ability under the current circumstances, and you can't blame them for that.
Yeah, for sure. Last topic. This will not be long. Giannis linked to the Knicks. I'm calling Cap, right? And then if you read the article, or if you read the article, I mean, even the title, it was, you know, pre-Cat trade. You know what I mean? Knicks were looked at as the one of the favorites to kind of land Giannis if he was going to be traded. Obviously, we moved, if not all, the 98% of our assets that we would have needed to kind of move into that Giannis discussion. So I don't see it happening. But there is a caveat. And then there was another article that came out that kind of highlighted this. So I just wanted to bring it up because I mentioned this a couple weeks ago and I got killed in the chat for it. I don't even remember if it was here or another platform, but um they said, what if the Knicks were going after Cat to ultimately use him down the line in a move for Giannis or Embiid. Obviously, we're not even talking about that situation. But I went on record a couple weeks ago saying if you are trading for a Giannis, who's more appeasing to the opposing team? Would it be Julius Randle at the time and the package around him, or Karl Anthony Towns, who is a more proven superstar? You know what I mean? A more proven star. You know what I mean? So it just makes. I'm not saying this is their direction because I'm calling Cat. But if you were going to make a move if you were the Bucks,
Mm-hmm.
what package would you prefer in a Giannis trade if you're moving them? Would it be centered around Julius Randle plus, or would it be centered around Karl Anthony Towns and Karl Anthony Towns' salary? So that was the perspective that I was coming from when I said that a few weeks ago. His salary is much higher than what Randle's is, and would be with an extension, a lot closer to the Giannis money. And talent wise, he's the better player. So that was my perspective. It was just funny to read it coming from a actual beat writer. But what's your thoughts on the rumors of the Knicks being one of the four teams potentially in that Giannis sweepstakes if the Bucks decide to trade him? And how would you feel? Would you like to trade for Giannis if it's on the table and reconstruct the team again? Given what we've seen so far, only 5 games, but the potential of the 5 out, I think that changes with Giannis no matter how we bring him in. Excuse me. But yeah, real quick, what's your thoughts on the whole Giannis situation? Would you want him? I know 2 months ago, everybody would probably be like, "Yeah, I want Giannis." But now that we're constructing a dynamic offensive team, and I think we still haven't scratched the surface of where we'll be. Would you pivot this soon? And when I say soon, we wouldn't be able to do it till February. But yeah, floor's y'all's.
Yeah, but
Uh, first thing first, when old boy broke the breaking news about the Knicks being one on what he was doing was sending the paperwork to Brunson. Brunson making all decisions. To me, that was like, yo, would you rather have Towns or would you rather have this guy? But I'm just joking with it though. I don't think we nowhere near in the facility of, what I'm saying, far as the Greeks, whatever Milwaukee want to do, because if you trade and get rid of a player like that, that means you're starting all the way over. We don't have no draft picks for you at all.
right.
So I don't even really get into that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think the Knicks are going to break down and restart this team with trading Towns. What you gonna do, Towns, OG, for Giannis, maybe something else. Um, Milwaukee would have to throw in there. They would have to put something else in there. What are you gonna do? Give us Big Eyes. He want to get out of Milwaukee. They just broke in his crib. What's his name? He used to play for us.
Bobby Portis.
Yeah, he just went crying on the internet. But I do anything with it. I'm trying. They're breaking my crib at the game. But yeah, I try not to get into it, but I don't put nothing past the office. Because anything that you say that is impossible, Leon gets it done. You know what I'm saying? We have an organization and a team amongst that organization that gets it done. You know, West probably was already on the phone with it. Hey, yo, push your way up out of there. Then we'll think about it. So you say you want out of there and you want to come here, then we ain't gonna, you know. And then it goes on to Mr. Rose and he get to figuring out and everything. But
we
Leon,
would need that leverage. By the way,
yeah. We
because
got a lot of
we
leverage over here. We got people that do things over here, you know, and that's what I like. Everybody has a role over here, and like they told me, they told me that everybody has a position amongst the organization, and they play their role, and they all as one. When you speak of one, when you speak of Leon Rose, that speaks of all of us. Everybody has a role that they play within the organization, and I like that. Appreciate. That's why I label them as the best, office management that we don't had in my parts of liking and watching the Knicks ever. But I think we're good right where we at. I'm not going to get into too much with Towns and all that. Towns ain't even scraped the surface yet.
Mhm.
He ain't even scraped this yet, and he's just getting more comfortable. And he sees that one thing he already let it be known. And the thing about it, and shout out to Tibbs. You know, when people was trying to kill Tibbs a little bit early, when Towns came in, they asked him, yo, what did you like about, what I'm saying? He told him, I like the weather and everything, but shout out to my teammates. And then shout out to my coaching staff for putting me in positions. So it ain't like Tom and them ain't doing what they supposed to be doing. So for those that was thinking about that before, but Towns ain't even scratched the surface yet. It can get real ugly with Towns. I just need another big so he don't have to put so much energy and effort all the time doing dirty work. That's what I want somebody to come where we can offset and use Towns in another way. We ain't using them at the 5, and we ain't even seen them at the 4. We ain't even done that. Mitch, get back here. Because them other people want Mitch back at night. That foot come back healthy. Oh man, I don't care nothing about what they doing in Cleveland. None of that. No, y'all see, Boston, I'm ready. But um, it's a good conversation. That's what happened when what I'm saying when the good teams start breaking up, falling apart. Tear that trash down. Philly Knicks, tear that down. All that is over with.
I'm,
Boston and New York.
I'll tell you, I'm watching them teams like Michael Jackson in the movie theater with the popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
I'm enjoying it. They their struggles. Yeah, excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead, Queen. I want to hear you because I'm getting ready to
Oh,
log back in and get back on the road.
yeah. I mean, Giannis changes things for us, right? Because he handles the ball. Brunson handles the ball. It's a different, it's a different dynamic with I'm not saying it can't work, but it's a different dynamic with Brunson and Giannis. And what you would have to give up to get him, it just puts us back. It just sets us back. Because we don't have the draft capital. So that means you got to give up players.
Mm-hmm.
So that just that sets us back. And, it depends on what they're trying to do. Are they giving him up to start over, or are they giving him up for another star so they can keep the train moving? So if they're giving him up and they want another star, then yeah, I mean, we could we could do it, but what are we gonna be left with? I don't know if we're gonna be a better team. And to your earlier point, If I was Milwaukee, though, I would go with Towns over Randall. I just think Towns is just a more modern day player. He's just a more modern day center. He just gives you more. He's just more. There's just more you can do with him. And I'm not taking anything away from Randall's skill set
Mm-hmm.
either. He's just a little more dynamic.
I mean, that was the only point I was saying. He brings us closer to a Giannis trade than Randall did
Yeah.
at the time. That
Oh,
was
and I
my
agree.
only
I
point.
think I misunderstood you. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm. You got me right. I just some people in the chat that was killing me. You know what I mean? I was just saying, Cat brings us closer to a Giannis trade than the
Randall would have.
situation with Randall have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like even when you talk about not having the draft capital, and by all means, I'm not saying Milwaukee does this, but
Right.
if it was Randall, then you definitely talking about adding more capital to the trade to kind of get him. You know what I mean? That was my only point.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I cut you off.
No. I'm just excited about what I'm seeing so far in this team. I just want to see more of it. I just want to see, like Boogie said, I don't think we've gotten the most out of Towns. I don't think we've got the most out of the Towns Brunson pairing. I don't think we've gotten the most out of that starting lineup. You know, it's just so much potential there. And so let's just let that ride out, see what we have before we start making changes.
How about how crazy it is though that we over here not jumping out of our seat saying, "Oh, whatever it takes to go get Giannis." You know what I mean? We like what we have. We want to see more. We haven't scratched the surface. I mean, this is a beautiful thing that we as Knicks fans, you know, 3 months ago it would have been a totally different tune.
Yeah.
Oh wait, Giannis, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? 6 months ago, Giannis is available. Like, we gotta go get him. And now he's just like, is it gonna work?
Right.
Is it gonna fit? You know what I
You know
mean? So
that
I love that.
goes to show how far this organization has come. That James Dolan, you made the right decision when you brought over Leon Rose, and even when Leon Rose came, it was it was a lot of people, still bugging off that part because what do he know about the office? All he knows is how to get free agents and get people money and all that. People bugged out off that, and look how far Leon Rose has came and brought this organization back to relevancy. You know what I'm saying? We here. You know what I mean? When Julius said 3 years ago, New York, we here. We wasn't here. We was just coming. You know what I mean? We was coming.
we
But
was on
now,
our way.
yeah, we here. We really here. And then the way he did it, like if we'd say if Giannis would have came available 3 years ago, right? Or he'd have got him over here. And with that money he was making and all that, his money was eating up so much. How was you going to build around him? How was you going to put it together around him? You know what I'm saying? Because we wouldn't have had nothing else to trade for if we would have made the Giannis deal and that the money. But in reverse, he got a point guard and build around him. And Brunson is working with the organization because he wants to win here. Yo, I do whatever it takes, you know what I'm saying, for us to, to be in that championship run. And here we are. The team is built. It's built, and you couldn't have built no other better pieces around Brunson than Bridges, OG, and Towns, and Josh Hart. You know what I'm saying? And we still got our big center that we hoping to come back. That's all we can do is fill in, filling the filling right now because the way this team was built. But if Giannis would have been here, we wouldn't have been able to build none of this that's around Brunson. None of it. Like Queen just said, what are you going to tear down? What are you going to send over there? We starting all over again with a new, superstar when we got a a second round player that's became an all-star. Now he's ready to become a superstar on our very own team. So, man, you had a Giannis. I'm not gonna get on that Giannis way. Stay over there, you know what I'm saying? And don't run from it. It was good when y'all was cooking, but now, the words are leaking that you and Dame, y'all ain't getting along. That's what you wanted. You send your man Holiday up out of there. He laughed at you. What? You did what? Man, I tell you, I'm gonna go get another chip. So man, it is what it is with Milwaukee, man. I gotta get back on the road. It's a lunchtime edition. I had my pizza, you know what I'm saying? I had 2 slices, yeah. Pardon me for eating, man, but hey, I gotta be able to do something, man. But I gotta get back on the road. God bless you all.
Appreciate
Y'all have
you.
a marvelous continuing Monday. Shout out to everybody that's viewing, is watching. Shout out to, still Knicks fans, Ron, you ain't got to continue on reminding them because we Knicks fans for real now. Yeah, yeah. But shout out to everybody. Everybody have a great Monday, man. God bless. Salute, salute, salute. 3 capital S's.
Appreciate
you.
Yeah.
100 people in the chat, man. Let's hit that like button. Get me to 100 likes. It's been a while since I had 100 likes, so that'd be a nice little present for me. Hit that like button. Real quick, Queen, before we get out of here, I think if I'm the Bucks, I move Dame. I
Correct.
move Dame right now. I call Miami. You know what I mean? They were interested in him. They were salty that they didn't get him. What's your best package? You know what I mean? I start there. What's your best package for
Miami? For
well,
Dame?
no, I'm not. I was speaking as the Bucks to Miami. Like, what's your best package? What do you want for Dame? Or what were you willing to give up for Dame? I think they could probably get Butler right now.
I don't want
Considering
Butler. If I'm Milwaukee, I don't want Butler. Butler, he never plays. He he's an unrestricted free agent. I think this is his option year, whatever. So you're gonna have to pay him. He's not really under contract. So you don't know how that's gonna go. He's in his 30s. How much you trying to lock him up for? You know what I mean? I wouldn't do Butler. And after Butler, who else do they have? Hero, Rozier, some young guys.
honestly, I'll be honest. If here's why I take Butler and Hero. You know what I mean? And because Dame's main reason of wanting to go to Miami had nothing to do with Butler. It had everything to do with Bam, right? Given all the injuries or not playing in the regular season and things of that nature, I do think one thing about Butler, he's a fighter. You know what I mean? Like, he got that dog in him. And then this is an opportunity, free agent, so contract year. I think you get the most out of him. He's gonna rejuvenate or be rejuvenated to be in a new city and things of that nature.
That's the pitfall, Tony. That's the pitfall. You got a 30-year-old guy, probably know this is a contract year. He's going to play well. You're going to lock a 30-year-old into a massive contract, and he don't even fit with Giannis.
Well, here's the thing. When you talk about with Hero, I think that is a good fit, and with him being in the final year, you don't have to re-sign him. Actually, it's actually a good way to pivot.
If they're looking to pivot, then you get Butler. If you're looking to continue on put a championship team around Giannis, I'm not touching Butler. He's on the downside.
I'm looking at it from the 1 year perspective. If I'm Milwaukee, you know what I mean. So, can we fight to get in the playoffs with Butler, with Hero, along with Giannis? Give this year its full fight to kind of reach that. You know what I mean? See what we could do. But you're able to pivot moving forward. You don't have to re-sign Butler, and you keep a shooter. You know what I mean? And a playmaker in a sense with Hero next to Butler moving forward.
You got to look at the books though to see how much money you're going to have, because depending on how far you are over the apron, you can let go of a player and still not have enough to sign a significant player.
Well, I think a couple guys are coming off the books. I think Portis, um, Lopez are both coming off the books. I'm pretty sure.
And where you getting a Dame replacement in free agency?
Well, I mean,
It's gonna have to be a trade.
I mean, I don't know. I would just look at it like, you know what I
I
mean.
ain't going with Miami.
What can we
You,
do right now for 1 year? Oh, you know what I mean. Like, because here's the thing: if you get to the playoffs, if I'm Milwaukee, I'm like, we saw how it looks with Dame and Giannis. It's not a great fit, right? If we could get to the playoffs with a healthy Giannis, with a healthy Butler, you know what I mean, with a young up and coming like hero, take my chances for this 1 year. What can we do? Maybe we make some noise. Boom. But long term, we're pivoting and still trying to build around Giannis, continuing. Because I think I don't know. I think it's a recipe for disaster to kind of let things continue as currently constructed.
but you don't want to have another disaster. Given this collective bargaining agreement, you got to be thinking years down the line. You got to
Mhm.
be thinking if we don't resign Butler, what are our choices in free agent? Who's in that free agent market? I would look to trade Dame for somebody under contract who gives Giannis a second guy who can be his sidekick for a few more years to go.
I mean, I feel you. I also don't think Dame's appease or appeal is what it was.
That's true too.
You know what I mean? Some
That's
years
true.
ago. So that's why Miami is the first team that comes to my mind, because we know the interest is as recent as a couple. You know what I mean? A year ago. You know what I mean? As recent as a year ago. But given what we've seen with that dynamic, who's who's out there that's gonna be like, all right, I want to go all in for Dame right now. So I think
Yeah,
even the asking, you know what I mean, like,
yeah, yeah.
like so they it's I'm enjoying watching it for sure. You know what I mean? Them and what's going on in Philly, minus the the altercation part, and or excuse me, the talking about Embiid's family. But other than that, I'm enjoying everything that's going on. Shout out to Corey Lee. Appreciate the super chat. He said these guys are NBA relics. Um, wait, what's the definition of relic? Because I don't want to misunderstand.
Oh,
Misunderstood.
I guess old guys, right?
Oh, okay, that's what like tail end guy.
Yeah.
I agree. But I think that's it for the show. We got I don't know why I said Toro sound like a mad scientist. Yeah, we're way left out. Um, yeah, my mind be rambling sometimes. But Queen's Court tonight. Um,
Mhm.
I'm gonna look up with Sim. I don't know if we're gonna get a post game or a losers lounge, but we may put it in the tuck for lost tapes. Because I know he got some things going on. But
Yeah, it
yeah,
won't be a pregame, so we're gonna do the pregame together with Queen's Court.
that's right. That's right. So yeah, shout out to the chat, the replay gang, the super chats, everybody that tuned in. Hit the like button on the way out. I appreciate that. And I'll see y'all tonight on Queen's Court.
Yep.
Oh, real quick.
Mhm.
We don't even gotta discuss it. We'll discuss on Queen's Court. I just want to put it out there. Houston Rockets are not a cakewalk of a team.
Right.
Um, Despite whatever their record is, I know they have not lost the game by more than 6 points. Um, I mentioned the dynamic of Jalen Green and his explosiveness. Um, the villain in Brooks. We'll talk about it on Queen's Court on when we do a full preview. But yeah, they not a cakewalk. So you know what I mean. Like, this is another good test for us for sure. and I'm looking forward to it. Even Sengun. You know what I mean? Like he don't play a lick of defense, but that man got like Shuttle called Hartenstein baby Jokic. I think Sengun is the baby Jokic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm starting. I know this is revisited, but I think Hartenstein was more like a big Joakim Noah, you know, a grown Joakim Noah in a sense. But that's all I got. Queen, appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
I see you. I see you tonight. Just this. I mean, I got the keys, so I'll jump in, but just let me know definitively on the time when you know. And yeah, Knicks, let's go. Let's get it. We back.